Peace, peace, family. QI Critical Thinking is in the building. Now, I don't see anybody in the chat yet, but I'm going to proceed on with today's presentation. All right. Now, today we are talking about reparations. We're talking about and all of the different people and the components and the things that are going on right now. Right now, in terms of the YouTube streets, this is one of the hottest topics among the Black sector. It's also one of the it also is one of the most dramatic topics in terms of Black politics right now. Okay, so basically, this is how it started. DJ Vlad did a tweet, and he said that I am for reparations, but only in the form of college education. So basically, what DJ Vlad is saying is that, he doesn't believe that, Black people should get monetary land, resources like resources for reparations. Now, let me just tell you this, and which I'm going to, talk about him a little bit later as well, when I talk about Lord Jamal and Talib Kweli. All right, but DJ Vlad is Jewish, and the Jewish people are amongst, the other people, the people who receive reparations already. So the Jewish people have received their reparations. The only group that has not is us as Black people. Okay. But DJ Vlad feels as though we as Black people should not get any monetary, any land, any resources, any programs, the only thing that DJ Vlad feels like we should get in terms of reparations, in which he was like, I'm for reparations, but only in the form of a college education. Now, let me tell you something. Along with college education, because we're going to school, we're getting college education. Now, we might be in debt from student loans, and different things like that by doing so, but we're already getting college educations. The problem is not us getting educated. The problem is not us being educated. The problem is the insufficiency of education and the fact that there are not enough jobs for college educated people. People with doctor's degrees sometimes have to go work at Popeye's Chicken. You know what I'm saying? So that's not going to save us by, like more giving us free education. Plus, that only does something for future generations. It does nothing for the current generations and the generations to pass. And then that education is still going to have to catch up. And we're so far behind. So, no, that's not going to work. That's not going to work. Now, let me take a minute. I see some people in the chat. Shout out to Jay Dunn on the ones and twos up in the building. Shout out to Bree Move Sideways Bundles up in the building. Twalib Kwali. Okay. Thank you. I'm country. So, hey, Twalib Kwali. All right. So, basically, I'm going to start with Twalib Kwali. All right. Now, Twalib Kweli and Yvette Carnell, basically, and Tone Talks basically have been going back and forth, for a minute when it comes down to reparations and the hashtag ADOS movement. Okay, now Talib Kweli was on Vlad TV, and so basically Yvette Carnell and Tone Talks Antonio Moore stated was that DJ Vlad is on an anti-reparations campaign. And this is why he's been featuring Lord Jamar and see, now you're messing me up. Talib Kweli on his show, which gets, he has a big audience and reaches a lot of Black people because he basically deals with hip hop. So, and entertainment. So, he has a big audience. So he reaches a mass amount of Black people. He also had like T.I. Well, no, my fault. That's Revolt TV. But basically they stated that he's on an anti-reparations campaign. And this is why he brought these different people on. It was another gentleman that was on there, and which I'll tell you about him in a little while. But Talib states that Yvette Carnell was aligned with the white supremacist organization. And first of all, I would like to say, if that's true, Yvette Carnell, you have some explaining to do. He states that, the first time he saw pictures of her, she had on a Make America Great Again hat. Now, let me tell you something. We as Black people, like no Black person, and no Black person should vote Republican. And let me tell you why. Republicans, first of all, would never give us reparations, first and foremost. Secondly, because these are the families of a lot of the people who did a lot of the injustices. So why would they agree to, like basically pay money out of their own pockets? Okay, now, secondly, Republicans are anti-women. Republicans are right now trying to take away the 14th Amendment, which is, the amendment that, frees Black people from slavery and gives us equal rights, or gives us the right, to, prosperity. Okay, and along with Comcast, and which I'm going to speak on that a little bit later in the week, because Byron Allen and Comcast are going to court tomorrow. So I'm going to speak on what that consists of a little later in the week. But I cannot believe that, Republicans are trying to take away our rights, like our freedom. They're trying to take away Black people's freedom. They're trying to take Trump and the Republicans, along with Pence, agreed to take away women's rights. Trump was like, women will lose their rights. They're trying to take away the 19th Amendment, which gives women the right to vote. Okay, now that's very dangerous for us as Black people, because keep in mind, we're 13-1 in terms of Black women, Black men. So who has voting is all about numbers. Okay, so who has the larger numbers? Black women. So that's why that matters. Okay. So we need, like once they take away, the voting rights of and the rights of Black women, basically you have annihilated our race. Okay. So Yvette Carnell and Tone Talks were basically pushing the Republican agenda. Okay. Now lately I've seen, after, I did these notes and, took down this research, I've seen where they're no longer trying to align themselves with the Republicans. And, and I have to say, that's good. And shout out to them for that. Because now I agree that, like neither one of the parties have served us in terms of serving a true Black agenda. But a lot of that is not just their faults, it's our faults as well. Because, we cannot just elect people and think that they're just automatically just going to do things for us. We have to push the button. We have to stay on them. We have to make phone calls. We have to, and then, we have to do a lot of different things to make sure that we keep pressure on them to get what we want and what we need done. Because the statement, a closed mouth don't get fed. And that's our problem. A lot of times we elect these politicians and we expect for them automatically to, go and do things for us, where these other people, they're going and they're standing up in their faces and we're sitting back with closed mouths. Therefore, we have not been getting fed. So a lot of it, falls on us as well. We have to push for Black agendas and Black needs to be addressed. But we're too busy because they have us distracted watching Love and Hip Hop and all of these different things. And we're even carrying out that celebrity, that entertainment standards in terms of the way we behave today. Our ancestors didn't act that way. Our ancestors focused on what was needed. And our ancestors weren't defeated. They pushed on anyways. They didn't get everything, but they got some things. But now it's like we're not doing anything. A lot of us are not even aware of anything that's going on. Reparations, along with them taking away our rights, is like the things that we should be focused on the most. Once our rights get taken, it's going to take an act of Congress for us to get them back. And I don't think people really realize that. It's like sometimes I feel like we want to be in slavery. I don't. I'm not. I don't want to go through what my ancestors went through. I'm not built for that. I wasn't born to be a slave. I was born to be royal and free. Now, like we, face a lot of, they taught us a lot of self-hatred issues and a lot of different things. And we got to bring ourselves up out of that, because 2020 is a very vital time. We have census coming up in 2020. That's what dictates where the funding goes in our communities. This is one of the reasons why, like, a lot of times we don't get funding. We have a lot of different things that everybody should be talking about, that we should be pushing. And we're talking about stuff that's not going to do anything and not going to save us. But back to the issue at hand, reparations, which is one of the most important issues that we face. And we have other races speaking on our behalf, telling us what we should get. I agree to reparations, but only in the form of a college education. We have more other races interested in reparations than the current political topics, in which involves the Black agenda and Black people, than we are. Okay, now some people believe that Talib and DJ Vlad are sent to weaken the ADOS movement. That's what ADOS believe. That's basically their thought process. Now, I do believe that people are they are bringing in distractions, and that's what they always do, from the Black Lives Matter to a lot of the different NAACP, to a lot of the organizations. This is what they do. But we have to start opening up our minds, and we have to start looking a little in depth to not allow these types of people in. We have to do our research. We have to be more involved and more knowledgeable, where we will know when these type of people infiltrate our systems. Okay, now, like I said earlier, New York Times, they did the interview. Now, they knew it was going to cause drama, and it did. Okay, and basically, like Tariq was saying, yes, they're trying to, not just because of the ADOS movement as itself, but sometimes you have to watch your character and the way that you behave, especially in this day and time where they have the Black identified extremists on the books, where you could be labeled as a Black identified extremist. Because I've heard and I've seen where a lot of the ADOS people are aggressive. Now, it's good to be aggressive, but not aggressive in a mean, not aggressive in a gang stalking, gang bashing sort of form or way. Because that puts us in a whole different category, which is going to make it a threat or enemy, the same thing that they did to the Black Panthers. And we don't need that. That's what they do to us. And we got to start, a lot of people, they have a problem with the way that Martin Luther King did things versus, the militants. The militant movements is only going to get us killed because we don't have the kind of weapons that they have. Martin Luther King used his head. He said, we're going to do this peacefully. And he got a lot for us, just like he got Martin Luther King got the Civil Rights Act. It was for us as Black Indians because he found out that we were Black Indians. He said, he was like Negroes held captive in their own land. And like, we don't even care enough about ourselves to do our own family trees and to find out where our people come from. We're listening to these other people tell us who we are. Know your grandparents' names. And see, this is the problem with these movements, all of them. But let me get back to the details at hand. This is the problem this is why Vlad can say, I agree with reparations, but only in the form of a college education. Because, we don't do research, we lack knowledge, therefore we fall for anything that they tell us. We believe anything that these people tell us. And that's why we keep falling for the wrong things. Okay, now DJ Vlad has been under attack and was under attack for saying that. Okay, so after that, it's like he started bringing on Talib. He brought on Talib Kweli. And see, thank you for helping me with the pronunciation, but I'm going to be mixed up trying to say it right. So let me just say it. Okay, but Talib, like me, agrees that, the education won't do because we don't have enough high paying jobs for people who have, who are educated. And, and basically it's indoctrination. Talib states that he is pro reparations. He just does not believe in us receiving monetary gain as well, in which I don't get that. Because a lot of people are saying, and a lot of people have said that, if they give us money, that a lot of us are going to go buy rims, go buy big screen TVs and all kinds of stuff. And at the end of the day, we're still going to be in the same situation, in the same place that we were before. Me, I say, give us our monetary gain. Now, we can't control anyone. And if anyone does that, that falls on them. But I tell you who won't be doing that and who will be looking at, producing for my future, as well as making sure my family produces for their future. So, like in terms of them, we don't want to give them no money because they're not responsible with money. No, that's out the window. That's not their choice. That would be ours. Okay, but he says that he does not believe Talib doesn't believe in ADOS. So Talib basically called out Yvette Carnell and the ADOS movement. Talib agrees that we're not all African. Talib says there is a push for a nationality for Black Americans. Yes, we have a nationality. We are simply Black Americans at the end of the day. Okay, now let me move along to the next person that Vlad basically interviewed. Vlad also then brought on Lord Jamal. Now, this is my favorite interview out of all the interviews that Vlad did. Basically, Lord Jamal asked Vlad, why are other people debating what we as Black people should get for reparations? Because, like I said, all other races have already received their reparations except for us. And when they were at the United Nations, negotiating, and when they were, basically trying to put together their negotiation packages, we weren't involved. So why is it that when it comes down to us, everybody else wants to get involved, with what we should get and what we shouldn't get? So I agree with that. And I shout out to Lord Jamar for that. Okay, Lord Jamal said that, and he agrees with myself as well as Talib. He said that college or education is indoctrination that feeds this matrix machine that was set up for our failure. Let me say that again. College or education is indoctrination that feeds this matrix. And what a matrix is, it's a box. Let's just imagine, it's a box. It's an enclosure where, you can't get out of it. It's a system. So that feeds this system. And this system was set up for our failure. I agree 100%. Because we should own, not be working for people. I've had, I grew up and my grandmother was, and my parents were like, go to school so you can get a good job. That's not what they should have been telling me. And now what I tell, the people up under me, my cousins and stuff, go to school so you can own your own business. Okay, that makes more sense. Why get an education? Why get a degree in business and then turn around and end up working for somebody, managing or working for somebody else's business? What kind of sense does that make? Okay. Lord Jamal said that college is not helping us as a people to advance forward where we can create our own. 100%. I just said that and I agree. College create more robots and more debt slaves. And I agree. Because, first of all, you're in debt from your student loans. But even if it was just us getting, free education, then, a lot of times, what I've learned, just what happened to us, after segregation, basically, when we were allowed to go work for these corporations and things, and we started making, nice amount of money, we abandoned our family businesses because during segregations, we had laundromats, we had our own stores, because we couldn't go to theirs. So we had our own everything. Okay, as soon as we got educations, instead of us coming back home, getting an education and coming back home to find out how to advance our family businesses, we decided that we're gonna, we're gonna be better than our family. We're gonna go up here and we're gonna get this job that pays prime time money. That's fine. But at the same time, you still need to do something for home. You still need to invest back in your own. You still not avoid or abandon, because we'd rather go move to a whole different neighborhood instead of fixing up the neighborhood and the family home that is already owned by our parents. We'd rather sell that, abandon that, and go live in a neighborhood where you're unwanted and pay 20 times more. Instead of investing in these neighborhoods that we all came up in, that we were all family, we all knew each other. That's what we did. Okay? Lord Jamal says that when it was time for other people to get reparations, only the recipients discussed what was needed. So why is this so different with us? Okay? Now let me just stop right here and tell y'all real quick. There are other reparations movements and other reparations groups besides just ADOS and besides FBA. That's Tariq Nasheed's group. There's in Cobra. There's the HR 40, which is a bill, and it's actually in the Senate and the Congress right now. And there's the DC Recovery Act. So, there are a lot of movements out there, and we all need to just jump on board. It's out there. It's been out there. Now, one thing, like I said earlier, I have to shout out ADOS because they brought fire. They brought the conversation out here. They're making people talk about it. It's spreading. But we all need to stay abreast of it. We all need to be knowledgeable about it. We all need to put our 2 cents in. And not become like some of these people and make us look like clowns and like we're animals and can't get along, but in a mature fashion. And we need to put a lot of our differences aside because, like I said earlier, we cannot unify if you're looking at, okay, we're not going to accept the Black LGBTQ. We're not going to accept, we're not going to accept this group. We're not going to never unify if we're all trying to, if the Kojic people are trying to enforce their indoctrinate in their Trinity indoctrination, if the Baptist people are trying to enforce their indoctrination, if the Muslims are trying to enforce their indoctrination, we're not going to ever. And that has, at the end of the day, what you believe is your right. That's what you believe, but you can't force your belief on other people because that's not freedom. And we're not going to never unify. And at the end of the day, it has nothing to do with our survival. So we have to focus on our survival and future generations and put a lot of these differences of thinking, differences of ideology aside. That's what will unify us. We can't be looking at, oh, well, men should be doing this and women should be doing that, especially us, when the majority of our numbers, the majority of our people come from Black women. If they take away the woman's right to vote, we doomed. Because a lot of our men are like, have gone to jail. They have felonies. And then, like it's 13-1. It might even be a bigger gap now, but it like it was 13-1. 13 Black women to 1 Black man. Okay, so let's look at that. When numbers count in terms of politics, when numbers count, we need our women to be leaders. We need our women to be out there. Because that's where our numbers are. We don't need our Black women beaten and suppressed. Okay? Okay, so Vlad and both Lord Jamal stated that neither wanted to be associated with Candace Owens. I'm with that as well. Because Candace Owens aligns herself with the Republicans, which basically they feel like we have not been, there's no injustice for Black people. Basically, Black people are at the bottom and basically oppressed because we won't pull ourselves up by the bootstrap. How are we gonna do that when, like like they said, this matrix, this system is set up for our failure? When we get charged higher interest rates for home ownership, when we're like, we were already behind, yet now we come and we're trying to get educations, but we get higher interest rates when it comes down to student loans. We got to get these student loans and all of this kind of stuff. So we're already behind before we get started. When we've been oppressed, when so much of our stuff has been taken. The music industry, basketball. Basketball, yes, is a Black sport. It came from the Mayans. It was a war sport. Okay, but look at who's getting monetary rewards off of that now. Look at who's receiving profits off of our culture. Okay, and as well, Lord Jamal stated that other races are not voting in Black politicians. Only Black voters are voting in other races of politicians. 100%. And this goes back to how we've been taught Black self-hatred. We'd rather vote, just like how they're tearing down Obama. We rather vote for, people who don't align with us instead of voting for people who align with us and forcing them to do right. We're like, the other races don't do that. They vote in their own. The other races, they stick together. But not us. Okay, because of other races only want their specific race to speak for them. Yeah, we allow anybody to speak for us. We allow anybody to tell us who we are. We allow other people to do all kinds of stuff, like we're babies. And that's where the word minority comes from. And that's why they feel like we can't govern ourselves, because we allow them to dictate us. Where other races are not doing that. They dictate them. So we have to change that. We have to change that. We have to we're going to have to do a lot better than what we're doing. And we're going to have to become more knowledgeable than what we are. We're going to have to know our history. Lord Jamal asked Vlad, why does he feel comfortable adding his 2 cents to our Black reparations conversation? And that's why I love Lord Jamal, because he didn't sugarcoat. He came straight to the point. Why are you so involved? Why do you feel so comfortable doing this? And that's a good question. Why did Vlad feel like it was okay for him to tweet that he agreed with reparations, but not in the form of a college education? Why is he putting his 2 cents in on what we should or should not get? I agree. Lord Jamal then again asked Vlad, why did he suggest education when Vlad, as a Jew, his people already received their reparations, and we didn't have anything. They didn't just get education. They got monetary rewards. They got everything. But here's the thing, though. One of the things is Vlad was like, I haven't seen a penny of that reparations. Because he stated that the state of Israel got the reparations and he didn't get it. So that's one of the reasons why he mad and he don't want us to get reparations. Okay? Because a lot of people want to hold us back so that they can be up there. They like that privilege. They like what's going on now. So they don't want it to change, because if we got what we really deserve, then the tables will turn 360. We'd be at the top and everybody else will be at the bottom. That's only if we can get our minds and our souls and our spirits right. If we don't get our minds, our souls, and our spirits right, then we'll be up 1 second and they're going to extract that money real quick. And a lot of people are going to be down in 2.5 seconds. But we got to get our minds, souls, and bodies right. We got to think collectively and as one. And we got to stop hating ourselves, therefore hating each other, therefore being crabs in the barrel. Vlad said that the difference is that Germany was told by the rest of the world to fork up the money. Germany was told by the United Nations what to give for reparations. And that's what we're saying. We're saying let us go to the United Nations. Let us dictate and negotiate what we want and what we need for reparations, and let them tell the rest of the world what they should give us. Not you. Lord Jamal says the rest of the world that knows that America has done to Black people. Why the rest of the world that knows what America has done to the rest of the world basically knows what was done to Black people. Black people have been done the worst out of anyone. Out of anyone, we are the most oppressed. We've been the most abused. Okay, Vlad stated that we will have to go through we will have to go to the United Nations. And then Vlad also says we have to know who owes us reparations. Okay, now, here we go. Now I'm going to tell you what's wrong with all the other movements. First of all, we have the American Descendants of Slavery, which is ADOS. We have DC Recovery Act, which basically is involved with, sort of lines up or, corners slavery. Our problem is there were Black slave masters, number one. Number two, so some of these people who sitting there thinking, and then not the majority of Black people were not enslaved. The majority of Black people were not enslaved. They were free people of color. So that doesn't have anything to do with our oppression and our injustices. Jim Crow has more to do with our injustices and oppression. And they're not going to want to pay out reparations twice. And so, to my understanding, I think they've already paid, the African slaves that were involved in slavery. I think Johnny Cochran handled their case. Okay, to my understanding, I'm not 100% sure, but I, think that I researched and read that down the road. But here's the problem. They're not going to give reparations for slavery, which is this much of what we should really get when we have Black American Indians. The Mayans were Black. I'm going to show y'all in a minute. The Incas was Black. The first people in America were Black. We own tobacco. We own cotton. We own corn. We own all of what only can be produced here in America. We had those industries and we were running it. We were trading with Europe and Africa. The Moors were merchants over the sea. So the Moors would come over here and pick up our goods like the rubber, the cocoa, the sugar from the sugar cane. They would pick up our goods and basically we would trade. They would transfer them, port them back and forth. So we had industries before anybody came here. We had our own tribal industries. Okay. So, and this is our land. We were here first. This is our land. We have treaties that were in place that said what they could and could not do. And basically what they did was they whitewashed us just like they did the Egyptians, over in Africa. They had us going to school and they're telling us our history while we're looking at Native Americans, which are Asian descent, Mongoloids. So we're hearing our history, but we're looking at a different people. So the history and the images that they were showing us was not matching up because that was our history. That just wasn't us. And that wasn't their history. And they know it. And they, for the longest time, they said it. They said, we don't know who built the mounds. They've only been here 20,000 years. We was here way before Columbus. And I'm going to show you in a minute. So when we're talking about land resources, when we're talking about industries like the tobacco industry, that's ours. We're old for that. They stole it. When we're talking about the fact that we're the ones that should have been getting the free education, we're the ones that should have had the casinos as our industry. We're the ones who should be dictating more about what happens on our land, according to our treaties, according to our ancestors. So there's no way that they could give Black people reparations without going back in history to the first people, the Black people who were here first. Black people were first all over the planet, even Asia. Look up the Black Asians. First Europeans were Black. First Spanish people were Black. I'm Choctaw. Most of us are like Choctaw. Like we're Mayans, we're Mexicans. And the first Mexicans were Black. The Mayans were Black. We were all over. You know, God didn't create the trees, the insects, the rocks, the dirt, and put them in one place. So what made you feel like God only created people and they were only in one place? That all Black people came out of Africa. Not making any sense. And you have to research your family trees. Most of your grandparents told you was Indian. But then after they started showing us telling us our history and showing us the images of them, we started thinking, oh, I got Indian in my blood. And then here come Louis Gates Jr. talking about, oh, y'all not Indian, y'all European. That was part of the game to take us away from what rightfully belongs to us. And then America, all of these people have America in their statement. American descendants of slavery, yet they do not want to acknowledge the Caribbeans, the Haitians, the Jamaicans, the Dominicans, which live in South America. A lot of those are our people. We were migrated back and forward. So slavery consisted of the entire continent. So you're right when you say America and American descendants of slavery, yet you're not right when you say that these people are not included, when America is an entire continent, which includes the North. Let me show you. A continent is I don't have it up, but a continent is a continuous landmass. So there's really technically only 2 continents on this planet that we know of, according to their maps, because we have to rely on their maps for knowledge and understanding. Okay, so a continent is a continuous landmass. America is connected all the way from up there, the Arctics, all the way down to South America, and there's even land up under there if you look at, certain maps. The Brazilians were the Brazilians, the first Brazilians are black. I'm about to show you. I'm about to also show y'all the first 4 haplogroups that's in the museum. A picture of the first 4 haplogroups that's in the Smithsonian Museum. So they know who we are. But they brainwashed us through education, through indoctrination, and through a lot of these different things that they've been teaching us inaccurate history. And one thing we will not do is pick up a book, read, research, and have better knowledge of self. Instead of allowing them to tell you, research yourself. And like I said, I'm a familysearch.org. I'm going to help people start tracing their family tree, tell you where to go. I just need somebody to be willing to be my guinea pig. So email me if you're willing to be my first guinea pig. Like I stated, it has to go back. It has to be someone who's not living, and it has to be a grandparent that was, and you have to know where they were from. So ask as many questions as you can to the oldest people in your family. Write it down. And I can help show you how to trace back the census report records. I can show you where to go and find land records, because on those land records is also a lot of times, especially if you go back to the 1800s, what tribe you came from. Because a lot of us Black Indians were given our Black Indian allocated land, but after those wars and stuff, once again, we fell off into the trap of trying to go to these co-ops and stuff and borrow seeds and borrow all this stuff, and not knowing that, you were borrowing this stuff against your land. Okay, now they owe Black Americans because they stolen our mineral rights. They owe us because we were shipped to Africa through the American Colonization Society and through Marcus Garvey and that African movement. Like I said, they owe us for our tobacco. They owe us for our cotton. They owe us for our chocolate. They owe us for our cabbages, corn, and so much more. Basketball, our music, blues, jazz, zydeco. That's ours. We're all supposed to be getting residuals off of that. Okay, now another thing that you have to know in order to be able to provide an accurate account or an accurate claim for reparations is you have to know who was responsible for enslaving you. Okay, now me being a Choctaw and knowing my history, I know that the people who colonized us in Mississippi and Louisiana, because Mississippi was once Louisiana. Okay, I know that was the British and the French. That's why Louisiana is basically French. And that's like, and we're like, we basically took a lot of the British, but it was the British and the French that worked together, because the Soto didn't come along until 1823. Slavery ended in 36. My grandfather owned land in 1830. He had his own farm. So Mississippi was barely touched in terms of colonization. And these are things that you need to know. There were Black Indian slave masters, but let me tell you a difference. Another thing a lot of people don't know is there were various forms of slavery. There was chattel slavery, which is the slavery that they taught us, that bad form of slavery. And that was indentured servitude, which was basically if you owed some money or something like that, you got a contract. You had to work 7 years, and then after 7 years, you be given a little check or something, and you'll be free. But you won't know this unless you dig into history. You dig into history. The majority of Black people were free Black people or free Indians of color. Black Wall Street was in Indian Territory, Oklahoma. Tulsa, Oklahoma used to be Indian Territory. Look it up. Indian Territory. So that's Black Indian Wall Street. The Tears of Trail, the Trail of Tears, that was us. So that's what they owe us for. That's where the injustices come from. And they owe Black American Indians so much more. So like I said, they know this. Our tribe still exists. We're still fighting for our sacred burial grounds, our sacred monuments, and a lot of these things that they've just been making into parks and all kinds of stuff and taking the rights of. A lot of our tribes are fighting for those rights. A lot of our tribes are state recognized. They just weren't federal recognized because they didn't want to give us that money. It is over 3,000 Black American Indian tribes that existed from the beginning of time. But if you research your family tree, research your family history, and believe grandmama instead of believing somebody who ain't even blood DNA tied to you, a lot of y'all disregard your grandparents. A lot of y'all grandparents said y'all Indian. Oh, grandma don't know what she talking about. She wrong. We African. Shout out to the red, black, and the green. And we're sitting here buying shea butter and everything, sending our money over there. And they not even our people, when we could be buying cocoa butter, which came from over here from the cocoa plant. We should be producing our own cocoa butter like we used to, because they got it from us. They learned about these plants here because we were indigenous people. We were medicine. We were shaman people. They learned about all this stuff from us. And then we started going to them, depending on them. And they can't save us when we go to the doctor. But we had everything that you need is here on the earth. They disconnected us from nature. They disconnected us with nature is basically God. Nature is basically God. To connect with God, connect with nature, common sense. But we're disconnected from nature. They disconnected us from nature, our natural, our culture, and everything. So they owe us. Okay? So Black American Indians are going to get the biggest pot. So they're not going to pay our reparations twice, because a lot of people that think they're descendants of slaves are going to find out that they're not descendants of slaves. A lot of people that think that they're African are going to find out that they're not African. And therefore, they're not going to give descendants of slaves some money and then have to turn around to give the Black American Indians a lump sum. So our history must be complete, must be accurate in order for us to get reparations. And we cannot just look at trying to get that we're cheating ourselves to say we just want to get reparations just from slavery, when the injustices go so far back and are so big. So that's where they're all wrong at. And a lot of these organizations are also Pan-African. And barely any of them are African. Now, there were a few Africans, but, like the first Africans that were brought over here were Europeans. They were white. Remember, they taught us this in school. Remember, they said they sent their criminals. They sent the people that they didn't want over here. But they found that wasn't working out for them, because we allowed them to come over. And we gave them, like the 13 colonies, we gave them groups of land, and we said, you work your land. But a lot of them were so busy looking for our gold, because gold is our resources, a resource of ours as well. They were so busy trying to look for and steal our gold that they were not planting crops and these different things to survive on a daily basis. Therefore, they came to us. And so we sort of started that indentured servitude by saying, okay, you can work for us and we will feed you. We started what's called, or what you think of as sharecropping. Because they were hungry, they were dying out, a lot of different things. So, knowledge, the lack of knowledge of self, that's our problem. We are perishing. We're not getting our due because we have lack of knowledge of ourselves, our family, our blood. We have lack of love for ourselves, lack of commitment to ourselves. We're not trying to do for ourselves. We're not trying to love ourselves. We're not trying to do what we're supposed to do for ourselves like other people are. So now I'm going to take a few minutes to see if there are any questions in the chat and speak to everyone. Thank y'all for, supporting. I just basically want to break that down, what's going on in reparations and all of the, different things. Shout out to Queen Lady T, Drunk Again Meek, Lightstorm TM, BB Nice in the building. Hey, sis. Auntie Donna, Dark and Lovely Film, Miss Lady Scoop in the building, and the real Queen Royalty lives. All right. So, do your research. And like I said, I'm going to, I'm trying to get my system set up so I can share, but I did want to show y'all this. And I do want this to be on screen. So, bear with me a moment. I told you I was going to prove. Here we go. I'm going to show y'all some pictures. Let me start with this right here. Can y'all see this? Yeah, I can see it now. These are pictures of the first Americans. Give me a minute because, like I said, this screen sharing stuff for StreamYard. Okay, Terra Nova. Now, Terra Nova basically means America, but I'm going to find you a better one. But you saw that black man with them feathers on his head? All right, give me just a moment. Let me find, here's one. Here it is. Okay, can y'all see that? Let me see if I can enlarge it. What do you see here? You see black people with feathers. And what do you see? America. This is one of what was on. As you can see, this is a map. This is the picture that was on one of the first maps. Black people with feathers with Indian feathers. Okay? Okay, let me show y'all some more. And that clearly says America. Okay, let me show y'all the first haplogroup. Okay, now this is the one I was telling you about that's in the museum. You can see the museum thing along here. I hope I still see it. Okay. Let me blow this up for y'all. Okay, now these are the first 5 haplogroups. You see Mongoloid. Mongoloid are what we call Native Americans. And down here it says Mongolian. Okay, you see Australoid. That's our haplogroup type, which means that we're the same. We're Australoids like the Australians. We're the same people. Okay, and you see under here, it says American. You see Negroid. Under there, you see African. They just called us Negro, but we're not Negroes. We're Australoids. There are 2 different haplogroups. Okay, so and then you see the Malay. And these are like the Malaysian people and stuff. Those were the 4 original haplogroups. This is in the museum, as you can see right here. The Museum of McCord Museum. Musi McCord Museum. Okay? So they know who we are. We just don't. Give me a moment. I'm going to show you some more. Let me show you this one. Now, Brazil is in South America. Let me show you this. This is a picture of the native and the first Brazilians, 1641. And this was a work of art, a painting done by Albert Eckholt. 1671. This was a painting done by Arnoldus Montanus. 1798. This was a picture of the native Brazilians done by John Baptist Dupree. Albert Eckhart, 1641. I'm trying to make sure that I'm still screen sharing. Okay, let me stop and bring it right back up because I don't see it over here. So let me stop because I want to make sure I get this on. Now I don't want to let me enlarge it. But these are like the painting. These are the paintings that the discoverers or the what would they call? Like Columbus. I can't think of the word right now. But the people that were out discovering America or looking at America, these are some of the paintings because they didn't have cameras back then. So basically they did paintings, just like the first map. It's a painting because they didn't have cameras back then. Let me show you a picture of a Mayan. See that? Ain't this Mayan right here black with them Indian feathers? He black. These my people. Okay, let me show you this. Hold on. California was named after a black Indian chief, Khalifa, and this is her picture. That's a picture of Queen Khalifa. The state of California was nicknamed after her. Okay, let me see. I hope I'm still sharing. I hope I don't have to back out. Anybody still up in here? Let me see. If it's not sharing, please let me know because it's very important. Okay, let me show you a notorious black Indian chief and his picture. Okay, I think I see what's wrong. Hold up a minute, y'all. It's on a different application window. Got ya. See, that's why I don't like StreamYard. But this is James Betworth. The one that I just clicked on in case it doesn't enlarge, because it didn't enlarge. I don't know. Let me see. And I really don't know how to do it. But James P. Beckworth, there's a book out. It's called The Life and Adventures of James P. Beckworth. He was a mountaineer, scout, and a pioneer, and the chief of the Crow Nation of Indians. So look that up. Look that up. Yeah, I know Miss Lady Scoop. Like I said, this is what I was saying about StreamYard and why I'm trying to get the other program because I need to show y'all stuff and it's so hard like when you know this program doesn't act right. I'm gonna try it again. Entire screen. Let me do it. Let me see. Share. Let me see this. Let me see if this will work out. Can y'all see that? I'm trying to wait. There we go. Yeah. All right. All right. It says James P. Beckworth, and this book is by T.D. Bronner, and this is the life and adventures of James P. Beckworth, a mountaineer. He was, like responsible for doing a lot of things and showing them around and navigating and stuff like that. A scout and a pioneer, and as you can see here, it says the chief of the Crow Nations of Indians. It's a black guy. Okay, it's a black guy. All right, let me go back and try to show you some of the other stuff that I was showing y'all earlier. Okay, like I said, this is the native Brazilians. And Brazil is in South America. You see the Indian feathers? Yeah, I can see it. Okay. You see the Indian feathers? And these are paintings. Like I said before, they didn't have cameras. So basically, when the discoverers they came over, they had to, they had artists and stuff with them, and they painted, what they saw, and they wrote journals and diaries. That's why you want to check a lot of these for our history and history of Mesoamerican and ancient American. You want to check the diaries, like the Diary of Columbus. In the Diary of Columbus, he tells you that when he came over here, he saw black people, and he only made it as far as Haiti. Okay, and a lot of these diaries and stuff. Check William Johnson diaries. He'll tell you about the American Colonization Society and things like this. This was a rich black man. We had a lot of rich black women and black men back then because Indians was a matriarch. Therefore, like it wasn't like we are now where, it was a difference in, woman, man, type of thing. Okay, let me show you. Like I said, I want to show you a picture of a black Mayan. See this black Mayan? I'm like my other computer's delayed, so I want to black. You see the Indian feathers? This is a black Mayan. These are my people. These are our people. They're from these are the first original Mexicans. Okay, let me show you some more. Like I'm gonna go to some of these first original maps again. Like I said, California is named after a black Indian. Here she is. This is Queen Khalifa. This is who California is named after. Okay, let me find you some more stuff here. I think this one got it on there. Let's see. Yes, I'm gonna have to enlarge this one. This was one of the original pictures. I don't know if you can read that at the bottom, but if you can, that says America. You see the Indian feathers? This was a chief. You see the bow and arrow, which is American. This was a chief. Okay. Let me show you this one. This was like a lot of our colleges and schools, our black colleges and schools, we had our own schools. A lot of our black colleges and schools, like Alcorn, especially in Mississippi and stuff, they started out as Indian schools. And let me show you a picture of an taken at an Indian school. What y'all think about that? See them people? See them braids? See them feathers? See them grass skirts? Okay, let's see. Because I got tons of this and I got tons of information too. But it's hard to do presentations. And then I'm so advanced in terms of study. It's like hard to find out where to start at because it's like it's so much information. So I'm gonna try to do my best to, and that's what's taking me so long. You know, it's like, let me show you some more Mayan stuff. That these were black people. See that? See that? That's Mayan. Black folk. Okay, let's go. Let me try to see what else I can, you know, show y'all here to show y'all who we are. And that we've been fooled. I gotta find the like the Indians that was over the tobacco industry. Cause like we had what you call, y'all see this? See them Indian ladies? This was a chieftainess because it was a matriarch. They're having a political meeting. Well, this one is a ceremonial dance. See the paint and everything? See the feathers? See the afros? Okay. This the Creek War. The Creeks are like Georgia. Okay. You see them? Let me enlarge this. Oh man, the thing don't want to work enlarger. But you see these Indians with the feathers against this Confederate military. Creek is in Georgia. Okay, now how it works is like the Choctaw, the Chickasaw, and the Cherokee are all part of Creek Nation. Creek is a nation. There's nations, tribes, bands, and clans. Okay, now every time we moved or migrated, you know, we called ourselves something different, but it's just a bloodline kinship. But you know, we're like also like we're all a part of the Creek Nations. We're all Mayan. We're all one people. See this? See them black people with them feathers? See them feathers? Okay, I got tons of this. I got tons of it because, like I said, I do my research and I don't just be talking. Show you another black Mayan picture. I don't know which kind of ceremony this was. See them people? And they're copper colored. See, we have a different hue. Australoids, Americans have a different hue from Africans. We're more like reddish brown, and they're more like blue black, whether they're dark or light. Our hair texture is different. Their hair texture curls all the way up, and we have more loose curls. This is the Pequot. This is them currently. This is them at a powwow. So our tribe still exists. You see this, brother? The Pequot tribe. See them brothers? Our tribe still exists. You have to trace your family tree and locate your tribe, in which I'm going to try to, you know, I'm going to show y'all and tell y'all how to do all of that. First, I got to catch y'all up to speed and make you a believer. Because a lot of people are so stuck on and wanting to be African, romanticizing about African when we're not. You see this? See this black Indian? This is our true American history. America is your history. Mesoamerica, American, it's your history. Ancient America, you got to go back past slavery. They fooled us. We've been here before slavery. You got to trace your family tree. And a lot of our tribes have our genealogy. We kept genealogy. This is the Tuscarora War. Now, the Tuscarora are what we call Cherokee, because the original name wasn't Cherokee. Now, y'all see that, brother? You see who he fighting? They stealing. They trying to steal from us, and we protecting our stuff. But this is the Tuscarora, which is, what we call the Cherokee. That's a brother. They know who we are. We don't. We're allowing them to tell us who we are. Find some more stuff here real quick to go through. Because a lot of times I've done a video with some imagery, but I'm not explaining it. So this time I decided to show y'all a little stuff, and especially in terms of the reparations, and how we have to have all of our historical facts together in order to get it, because they're not going to want to pay us twice. See this? This brother got feathers. See that? And afros and dreadlocks are American. Afros and dreadlocks are American. Them braids, they're American. This is in North Carolina. You see them black Indians with them feathers? This is one of the paintings by Albert Eckhout, and it's Eckhout. Like I said, they didn't have cameras. Now, this dude right here has been indoctrinated by that sword, because originally we didn't have swords. Either he traded and got that from Africa, the Moors who used to come over here, or he had already been indoctrinated. Because, like when you start seeing them Indians wear that red, and that's what happened to us. We lost contact with our own. We started doing too much. Like, the same thing, different day. See this? That's us. Indians. Let me find the tobacco one. That's where I was headed. Let me see if I can find a picture of when we were over the tobacco industry. See that? That clearly says America. See what color they are? See what color they are? See that it said America. This is from one of them old books. You can see it. Where they had, they had to paint the illustrations. I need to find the tobacco. But I keep finding, like ones to show. This is a Mayan. This is I forget, I can't pronounce what it is that they have on there. I mean, where it came from, but it still exists. It's historical. It's in the museums. We had it came from like a sacred mound. We had pyramids here in America. They say that the Grand Canyon is a pyramid. The mounds are ours. They're sacred burial sites and stuff for our ancestors. Now let me just focus on trying to find right quick the statue. They sell these. These are at the Smithsonian. See, this is let me see some. Now, this is a lot of my information. These are all PDFs and stuff that I got information and stuff from researching. But this is in a there's a tobacco museum in Virginia, and this is one of the reasons why, like, I wanted to move to Virginia, because um a lot of this stuff is in museums and stuff in Virginia, and I wanted to be able to go and get that information. A lot of our Black Indian, I have copies of treaties and everything. A lot of our Black Indian artifacts and stuff like that, they have it at the bottom of like the Smithsonian Museum and a lot of different museums. So, like I'm gonna try to get my I'm gonna try to get license where they can't deny me, and I want to be able to go in there and get this stuff documented. Because they're writing us out of our own history. Let me see. Just like we're over there defending the Egyptians. They did the same thing to us over here. There's one of our pyramids. Our pyramids are a little different from the ones in Africa. Ours are more advanced. We had plumbing, we had electricity. We were advanced. You see this? We were advanced. We had cell phones there, like on some of those things. We had cell phones. Let me see if this is the one. This is a Mayan. This is a Mayan. Drums are not exclusive to Africa. We had drums. The Indians beat drums. We had drums over here. You see, they got trumpets. These are Mayans. You see the Indian feathers? You see what color they are? This is in the museum. They know who we are. We don't. We had our own language. Oh, it's the codex. That's what these are on. They're on the codexes. Oh, here's one with us with our drums. Drums are not exclusively African. That's one of the things they like to say. And that's why we got these Africans claiming our original music. See these Black people playing drums? Black women. That's ours. We had drums too. I'm not going to say, we invented the drums. I know we invented yoga. Because here's a yoga position right here. This right here, this is a shaman. Jaguars that was only like in America. They're extinct pretty much now. But that was a sacred animal. We were into animism, which means, because we believe that like animals taught us what to eat. Animals taught us, how to survive here on Earth. So, we honor, and that's where the feathers come from, especially the eagle feather, because the eagle flies high, the highest. And, that's why they call the eagle the all-seeing eye, because it flies the highest, therefore it can see everything. And that's why we had animal guides and spirit guides and different things like that. And that's not spookism or anything like that. That's connecting to nature, staying connected to our natural DNA, staying connected. See, this is a yoga position. That's a yoga position. Let me see. That's a yoga position. I know what that is right there. Forgot what that is. I know y'all seen the Olmec head. They have 3 of these. You see them features? You see them lips? We've been here. I'm still looking for the tobacco. Once I find the tobacco one, then I'm gonna close out. But I just basically want to show y'all images. So, because some people are visual learners. Like I said, we had our own writing, our own languages. That's how they find, they have they found a lot of our stuff in Georgia. Our Mayan artifacts and writing systems and different things like that. They know who we are. See this? It says America. Let me try to enlarge it. See what color they are? See what that says down here? America. See the feathers? And this is when the natives start mixing, because you start seeing the lighter ones. Because they did, a lot of them, they came and they tried to marry into our families. And some of the into our tribes. In some tribes, they didn't believe in incest. Therefore, let's see. Therefore, Indian. Let me see what's in here, because I'm looking for one specifically. Therefore, we start, whereas we didn't believe in marrying outside of our tribe, we started because we didn't believe in incest, especially the Choctaw. That's the history my chief told me. Mayan. Let's see. It's somewhere. And see, that's another thing. I'd like research. I need to organize. These are old maps. Let me show you what's on this old map right here. Well, that one, not this one. You see, that's a current one. I need an older one, where it shows us on these old maps, because they drew out the maps, when they were just, discovering. And they drew what they saw when they got here. Here's one. Oh, that's Ethiopia. Old map of Ethiopia. See, they were black too. They still black though. Oh, Machead, I'm trying to find it. I hope I can find it this rip. And like the only group of people now that has preserved our history pretty much is like the people from New Orleans. Like a lot of them, they know that's where the Mardi Gras Indians came from. This is a picture of my chief from my tribe right now. This is my chief from my tribe right now. Black man. My chief, the Avuel Tayenza tribe. It's a merger of like a lot of the Choctaw Indians from Louisiana and Mississippi. Like we merged, that a lot of the tribes merged together. Oh yeah, here's one. Here's one of the tobacco ones. Thank goodness. Okay, now this is a monument. It still exists. This is somewhere, like I think in Virginia or somewhere. This is at the top of a building. You see how he has the pipe, the grass skirt, and the feathers. Because we were over the tobacco industry. They show us pictures where we're working in the field, and we think that's because we were slaves. No, our tribes were over our own industry. That was us out there working for ourselves. You see how they can like mess up our thinking that quickly? How they can erase us and take away our history that quickly and that easily? I have another one. It's like I have another one, a better one, I know. I think I put it on a video, but I just can't seem to find it right now. Not sure. Yeah. I'm probably going to have to. I'm going to have to like get that together. But y'all can look up the old tobacco statues and stuff, like the original tobacco statues and stuff. They're selling them for a lot of money. They're still selling them. So they know who we are. We just don't, because we're too busy believing what people are telling us and not believing grandma. Grandma told you was Indian. We some engines. We engines around here. All right, so like hopefully I can go ahead and get that presentation software together. Then I could bring y'all, like we can start trying to research these family trees. If you're interested in being a guinea pig, like I said, ask your family as many questions as possible. and it has to be somebody that's older than 1940, because 1950 has not been published yet. It'll be published after the 2020 census. Um, and know where they were from, about how old they were. It's good to know like some of their relatives, so we can be able to accurate, because some people had the same name, so we can be able to accurately say if that was them or not. So do, and then you feel free, if you want to be the guinea pig, you can ask me questions about what you need to ask your family or whatever, but I would prefer to use a guinea pig. A guinea pig, therefore I know I'm helping somebody do their family tree at the same time I'm showing other people. So, and it's free. People charge for that. People charge to do genealogy. It's a lot of work. And like, I'm gonna help people, but I can't do it for you. I'm gonna give you, I can answer questions, but I can't do you for it. It's like I've done it before, and it's like a big responsibility. And some people, like, they start wanting to do it for you, but I'm gonna show y'all, like, the tricks, tips, and the basics. And then if you get hung up and you have questions, I'll be available, like through email or whatever, to help y'all out. So and I gotta get, that's why I gotta have everything set up accurately and stuff like that, because like, it's big. And see, a lot of the information that I provide, let me tell you the difference between with the information that I provide. With a lot of the information that I provide, I need screen share. I need to be able to share resources. It involves a lot of research. Even putting together a presentation just like this one here today, I had to divide it up and everything. So it takes time. And, that's why I'm not going to, like, try to come on every day or whatever, because in order for me to get integrity wise, in order for me to provide, detailed information and do detailed research, it takes time as well. Plus, like, I'm going to do graphics. I got a special price I've been producing online. So if you know anybody who needs any graphics, tell them to hit me up. And by all means, I'll show them my work. And I aim to satisfy. Right now my prices are low. I'm professional. I've been to school for it. So like, and share that link and share that information as well. I'm trying to put out some work to, show that I can basically do any type of graphics. You just tell me what you want, what type of look you want, whether elegant, whether corporate, whether business, whether hood, whether, whatever. I can do whatever look. You just have to tell me what you want. And sometimes, like, even, just producing examples, because I don't want to put any of my client stuff out there, because that's not business. But I do have portfolios. But pass around my information. I'm now doing graphics. I listed my graphics on my community wall. Check it out, and it doesn't have to be anyone just from YouTube. Tell them to hit me up by email, and we'll go from there. I'm going to ask them questions, and it'll be a back and forth, but I aim to satisfy all my customers, if they're reasonable. Because I know I haven't ran across a lot of them, but I have ran across some unreasonable customers. But that's for now. And my prices are very low, based right now, the special prices or whatever, because I'm trying to sort of fit into like what everybody else online is doing. But really, I charge a lot more. And if you look at the industry standard graphic designer, whatever, you'll see that they charge hundreds, like $100 an hour. Like, you're not going to get any work for the prices that I'm offering here online. But I'm offering that online to, basically be competitive, and I don't want to hurt anybody's pockets. I'm trying to help people out. I do banners, logos, flyers, armbands for motorcycle and social and pleasure clubs and different things like that. I do business cards, anything you name. Now, I don't want to do brochures right now. And I'm not really, although I do video editing and stuff, I'm not really trying to do the intros, because that's very time consuming. And it's hard to be a designer, graphic designer, a content creator, and that's a lot of time. There's not that much time in the world. So some of the stuff that takes a long time, I'm gonna have to push, not do it for right now. In the future, I will do printed work, but right now, like, because I'm helping grandma and I'm not set up in my own place, I'm not doing it. My equipment storage. So, but in the future, I will be doing, you know, printed t-shirts, embroidery, um, um, video editing, like weddings and different things of that nature, you know, like a full range multimedia production company. So, you know, thank y'all for y'all love and support. Make sure you smash that like, share, and subscribe. And, you know, make sure you hit me up if you want to be my guinea pig for tracing your family tree. If you have questions, hit me up as well. There's no such thing as a dumb question. Let me put my email up real quick. And it's also on my page, so you can find it. All right. And thank everybody for their support. And until next time, love, peace, and hair grease. And I'm going to try to give us some little music to go out on, if I can find my music here. Hold on. Here we go. Here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2.
Até o chão.